hate each other. That was apparent. So I went back and I watched some clips and I'm like looking at this. Look at this, guys. I can't actually show you the full video because there's like copyright rules, but I'm just showing you some clips from it. I looked at this with like an eagle eye. This is one Rachel Zegler and one Gal Gadot, and they never actually looked at each other the entire time. They never even glanced at each other. Now, this is a little bit odd, and I can say this as somebody who's co-hosted many shows with other hosts. Like, that's the biggest diss you can do to someone, not look at them. Like, that's only happened a couple times in my career, and it's because, there's some jealous person that doesn't want to actually, it's just like something else is going on. You always look at your co-host. You don't get up and hand out an award like this without maybe sort of looking over, and you kind of cheat it because they're both there on stage together, so you don't fully look over because then the audience can't see you, but there's a way of sort of cheating it and looking pleasantly and having a nice little smile. But these two women, they just stared at the camera, they stared at the prompter, they never looked at each other. And it was really obvious that they could not stand each other. They really hate each other. They're probably very happy this movie is done. I don't know how they're going to make it through all the press. But again, remember, this is an ABC production. ABC is owned by Disney, so of course they were there. And I would say that, this is clear they don't like each other. And maybe it's just pure jealousy. I don't know. Viewers certainly noticed. I mean, this was funny to me because leave it to the Irish Star to come up with exactly what I said. I was saying this morning, guys, they really can't stand each other. And this is exactly what the headline was. Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot, quote, didn't even look at each other while presenting at Oscars amid feud. Why are they feuding? Well, they're feuding in part because of Israel, in part because of Trump, and we'll get to that. And they may even be feuding in part because one is clearly by far a much bigger star than the other. I mean, Rachel Zegler, can we go back to that picture for a second? I want you to see this because she actually looks like she could have played one of the dwarfs. Look at her. I mean, she's just a tiny little thing, like a little gnat in Gal Gadot's way. So she's this tiny little thing. I guarantee you that, they're actresses. Rachel doesn't like being the short little one that is not as attractive. I mean, you've got the whole internet posting memes like this. They're like, oh, check it out. The internet responds to seeing Snow White actresses on stage together with a new show poster meme. I mean, nobody could quite understand why the beautiful Snow White was actually being played by Rachel Zegler to begin with, right? I mean, and Gal Gadot, mirror, mirror on the wall, I'm sorry, there's one that's winning that game, and I say this as a woman, okay? There is one that is clearly leagues ahead of the other. So that makes the whole story kind of implausible to begin with. But the viewers kind of, on television, they were sort of picking up on this vibe. And they noticed that they couldn't stand each other. They noticed that, it was really kind of a weird power play. Funny comments quote, why are they punishing Angel? This is somebody who likes Rachel Zegler, by making her constantly show up with Gal Gadot. And then somebody else writes, Zegler deserves an Oscar just for her performance of pretending to like Gal Gadot. Oh, I'm sorry. She did not do a very good job pretending that she liked Gal Gadot. Others were saying she should just push Gal Gadot off the stage. So this is clearly the Rachel camp talking. Remember now, Rachel has been very outspoken in favor of they, them, in favor of pronouns. It's still all over her Twitter account. She got somebody else fired. Remember that. The woman who had played in some of those action films for Disney, she got fired because she wasn't willing to put her pronouns on her page, and Rachel went nuts. She's gone nuts on a few things, and they've had to kind of temper her down, little elf or dwarf that she is. Here we go. Rachel Zegler, the ingenue from New Jersey, writes, after saying everybody should go watch the preview for the Snow White movie, and always remember Free Palestine. Now, this was happening shortly after October 7th. Gal Gadot, who's from Israel and is a former member of the IDF, obviously feels very differently. But Rachel had no sensitivity to that whatsoever. Like the sensitivity chip gone. Like she's just like all these liberals that you see that are out there like total nut jobs, preaching their view to the choir, to themselves. I say to the choir because it's to themselves. It's to nobody else. And they're really loud and they're really, really, really angry. Thomas Conservative, I'm going to get to your comment in just a second. Thank you again for the generosity. Here's what she said on her Instagram account. Rachel Zegler said, I echo so-and-so Ethel Kane's statement more than anything. Quote, may Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace. That's Disney's star Hollywood actress. All right, so you wonder where, say, Whoopi gets it from on The View. You wonder where the debate team at ABC News gets it, or George Stephanopoulos feels like it doesn't matter. I can say whatever I want about this guy. I can libel him, and there's nothing that's going to happen. Of course, in his case, he actually cost his network $16 million. But this is the sentiment. So Disney's main star writing before the election, may Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace. And between that and Israel, like, I'm just thinking that this movie's not going to do so well. I think a lot of people are going to say, you know what? I have better things to do with my time. I have better things to do with my money. I don't need to support an actress like that. And we haven't even talked about what she thinks of the film itself, right? One Rachel Zegler here talking about Snow White. You remember this clip. You know, love doesn't matter. No, she's going to be like head of the company or president of the kingdom.
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
So no Prince, or a different kind of Prince?
We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story, just because, like, we cast a guy in the movie.
Right.
Andrew Burnap, great dude.
Yep.
It's one of those things that I think everyone's going to have their assumptions about what it's actually going to be, but it's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
Okay, so that was worth hearing, right? Thank you for your comments and for alerting me to that. Cat crazy writing, oh, no sound on her, but that's fine, right? Because maybe you didn't want to even hear Rachel Zegler with her annoying voice and annoying commentary after all. But it's important to understand where they're coming from. And I think that a lot of this Disney wokeness is actually being dismantled in real time. In fact, just look at the company itself, which just got rid of its 2 DEI programs, right? It's 2 signature DEI programs they're getting rid of because shareholders are like, wait a second, I'm sorry, Bob Iger, CEO, your company kind of sucks. Like, look at the stock price and look what it's done or what it hasn't done within the last 5 years. It's not going anywhere. Actually, if you look at it compared to 2020, it's somewhere around half what it was. So listen, I mean, they've got serious problems. I don't think anybody's going to actually go see that show. I really don't. Thomas Conservative, Gal Gadot, he writes, doesn't just dwarf Rachel Z in height, but as a person, the only thing more beautiful than Gal Gadot, is her soul. She's such a beautiful actress, right? She's just a beautiful actress and such a good representative, I think, for Israel. But the other one, you know what? I may stay home on that movie. I see no reason to bring the kids to that, shall we say, because you're just reinforcing these crazy woke values. And like, it's not cool. Like, it's not cool. They're taking all these classics and they're remaking them in their wokeness to try and reinvent history. And I'm sorry, like, enough already.